Welcome to Intricacies of Michelle. I am Michelle. Somehow you have found your way here, which tells me you have already made excellent life choices. This first episode is called So, Why Date Me? Because if I'm going to enter the dating world at the ripe age of 52, I may as well start with a question everybody's thinking about and no one wants to ask. The first question an interviewer would have asked me is, when you think about dating right now, what's the first word that comes to mind? Honestly, the first word that comes to mind for me is fear. Although I've had lots of therapy, fear still niggles its way into my brain and bothers me. Does this fear stop me? Hell no. Does it give me pause? Yes, absolutely. It's just all the old things that come up from before therapy, like, am I good enough for someone? Are they going to destroy my heart? Has dating gotten harder or just weirder? Is the next question. My answer to that is weirder, definitely weirder, but also clearer. I know myself now, so the nonsense stands out faster. And I took this amazing course by Sabrina Zohar. It's called the Foundation Course. And that helped me root through my reasons that I stay in the loop and essentially date the same man in a different body every single time. So I'm not placing blame, I'm taking ownership of my outcomes and the things that have happened to me. An interviewer would have asked me is, why aren't you in a relationship? And I have so many answers for that. Many of them are sarcastic, but my real answer is the reason I'm not in a relationship is because I'm finally discriminating. Discriminating is not me being picky, but I'm intentional. I'm no longer chasing experiences and collecting experiences from which I need to learn. Not that my learning is done, but I've chased all of those things and I put up with a lot of stuff, and I'm ready to move forward and curate a wonderful relationship and openness for myself. I'm curating peace for myself. And that is more important than anything else in my life right now. I need peace. I deserve peace. It's been a rocky road to get here, but I'm here and I'm feeling very zen about this. Not, well, I mean, sort of, zen-ish, I should say. Pretending to be my own interviewer, why date me? I'm a mix of emotional intelligence, humor, deep conversations, intentionality, and the ability to make spaces and relationships feel warm. I like people to know that I care about them. And if I want you in my life and I want to spend time with you, I want it to be a warm, safe space. And yeah, I know Generation X, we're not about the safe spaces, but I did work in social work for a little bit. So I'm a little bigger on safe spaces than most Generation Xers, I think. Plus, I'm a great storyteller. My stories have a lot of squirrels, so I bounce around a lot, but I have a lot of details that I want to make sure you understand and see. You'll definitely never be bored. This interviewer question would have been, what do people assume about you that's totally wrong? People always assume that I'm strong and I don't need support. That, I'm capable, yes, but I also value partnership and reciprocity. So many of my past significant others have said something along the lines of, I didn't help you because I thought you had it. I didn't think you needed me. You always handle everything, so I didn't step up. Going forward, I know that's not what I want. I am strong and I am capable, but I want someone to care about me and offer. I'm upfront and honest enough. I'll let you know if I don't need the help, but I'll try to thank you for offering because that is important. And just for the record, chivalry is not dead. Well, it shouldn't be dead. If it is dead, it should not be. I like when people open doors for me. Another question: what is the most unhinged reason you didn't date someone? And this one is probably going to elicit a lot of eye rolls, but he chewed like he was raised in a barn and he was eating hay and it was loud and things were like dropping out of his mouth. It was horrible. I couldn't do it. My soul was like, stop this. This is not going to work for you. If I'm not responding when people are loudly chewing, it is because I'm forcibly holding myself back from making a comment. Next question would have been, what do you actually want from dating now? I've given this some thought. What I want from dating now is peace and growth and mutual support. And I did touch on that a couple of answers ago. Just because you know I can handle it doesn't mean that I don't want you to offer. I'm in search of someone who matches my energy and doesn't drain it. I've had that. I've experienced that and it's just heart-wrenching. And the other thing that's important to me is having someone in my life who accepts me as I am in the place that I'm currently in. I don't need someone who expects me to be something that I'm not. Today I'm here with very little makeup on. I fluffed my hair and it fell right down. Sometimes I show up with no makeup on in lounge pants and an oversized t-shirt. That's me for that day. But then there are other times where I like to rock a bright pink wig and eyelashes and full makeup and a fancy dress. It really just depends on my mood. And I need somebody that's chill enough to go, oh, baby, you look gorgeous, no matter which of those. Which of those ways I'm presenting myself at that moment. My next interviewer question would have been, what won't you compromise on? I've compromised a lot. I feel like I've compromised more consistently than not in my life. At this point, I know that the things that are going to make me feel safe and warm are consistency, communication, and emotional availability. Consistency doesn't mean you have to text me 100 times a day. Consistency means showing up, asking me in advance to go out. Let's go have coffee. Let's go to a movie. I always love dinner at Sorelli's. Make the plan, ask me, be consistent. Don't make me wonder if you're ghosting me. If you're ghosting me, communication is key. If we have a disagreement, I really want to be able to feel secure enough in the relationship that I can say, I really, when you said that, this is how it affected me. For now, I'm going to choose to go read a book and relax and deal with this when we're all in a good place. That also leads itself to emotional availability. Because if you can have those conversations, shows me that you've done the work and or you were just blessed with great skills. I mean, emotional availability is important. I don't The stonewalling situation is never healthy. It means that you really have something to say, but you would rather choose silence over expressing your needs, wants, desires, and upsets. And that's not what a relationship is about. A relationship is about working together and getting through things and growing together, as much about the time together and the love and the respect. I think it all goes hand in hand. I'm also too old for these guys who are like, I don't like to put a label on it. Like, what do you not like to put a label on? Your past? We're all adults here, and let's be able to put a label on it if we get to that point. Because I'm not dating and staying with someone who's not willing to eventually put a label on it. That's important. Dating isn't just to do it for the sake of dating, you know? That's obviously a hot button, and we can talk about that later if we get to it in another podcast episode. So, if I would have had an interviewer, the interviewer would have said, what would you tell someone figuring out their dating identity? A dating identity. That's an interesting concept. I mean, we all have our things. If you would have asked me this a year ago, I probably would have said something along the lines of making sure the man is level, catering to him. But now I don't need to do that. I don't need that pat on the back saying, good job, you're such a good woman. I don't need that. I mean, I love that. Don't get me wrong. I wouldn't argue with it or fight it. I think now I would say if you're figuring out your dating identity, start with who you are, not their expectation of who you think they want you to be. You need to know yourself. You need to love yourself. You need to be the person you want them to love. Because if you're putting your fake face on and not being real with your feelings, it's deception, isn't it? You're deceiving the person who's getting into a relationship with you. And that is a waste of time for everyone. I think once you know yourself and you love yourself, that version of you will attract the right person for you to have and to hold and to date. And maybe eventually marry if that's your thing. Thank you for joining me on my journey. I'm glad you're here for the beginning. I'm already looking forward to unwrapping this gift that is Michelle. I mean, you know, thank you again. I look forward to chatting. And if you have questions, comments, suggestions, please DM me on Instagram at Intricacies of Michelle. Thanks again. I hope you'll come back.